Now, what about when it comes to body language? Back to the Impulsive podcast, you said that there's some downtime when you're filming Shark Tank where cameras will come in, get B-roll, and the contestants are just standing there. And you said that you could tell from their body language how confident they are and if they're going to be successful and if they believe in the product. What do you look for specifically when it comes to body language?
Mostly in the eyes. If you stare at somebody, can they take it? You can stare at somebody on the Shark Tank set for 4 or 5 seconds and they just look away and they start looking around the room. They're going to fail. They have to have in their head that moment before they're even talking. I am here for a reason. I've earned my way here. I'm really good at what I do. I'm going to deliver my message and nobody is going to trip me. That's the mentality you have to have. And you're going to get fried in there, even though you've practiced, 50 times in front of a mirror. It's not the same from when the cameras are rolling and you've got all the sharks there and the dynamic that's going on. You have to be confident, and it's really in the eyes, I think. That's because I'm right almost 99% of the time. That's a loser, hasn't even said anything yet. Sure enough, they're losers because they just don't have what it takes to drive. There are winners and losers.
Yeah.
That's not my fault. It's just the way it is.
And what about trusting your gut? Has that ever steered you the wrong way? Because you're very much lead by intuition and you kind of have a feeling if this is going to work out or not.
You don't have gut till you've failed a lot. The intuition or the gut feeling is experience. That's what it is. And so I always tell this famous story about my last year of business school. This guy came in the class. Always in these MBA courses, they start bringing in guest lecturers. And he came into the cohort that we were graduating a week later. And I was sitting beside a guy named Barry Nicole. He passed away. It's really unfortunate, but I spent 2 years beside him. And this guy walks in and he doesn't say anything. The lecturer introduces him and he just starts walking at the bottom of the pit. It's like Harvard. It's a case study, 168 people in the room. And he's just walked around and then he started walking up and down the aisles and it was really uncomfortable for everybody. Like, why is this guy not talking? And then he goes down to the bottom of the pit and he looks up and he says, "You guys think you're such hot shit. You're going to graduate with your MBA. Aren't you smart? And you think you're going to go out and change the world. A third of you are going to fail in 36 months. You're going to get fired. A third of you are going to go into mediocrity as consultants. And a third of you are going to work like hell for 10 to 15 years and maybe make it as an entrepreneur." And I leaned over to Barry and I whispered, "This guy's a real asshole." And I'm that guy today.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
He is right. He was 100% right. That's exactly what happened. He was 100% right. The arrogance you have when you're young and you've never felt the sting of failure is unbelievable. And only life can beat the crap out of you and make you have experience. That's the whole idea. And that's really what I learned. And now when I go in and I give that same lecture to people, it's out of experience. And so when I see deals now and I meet entrepreneurs or I'm offered to invest in stuff, I have a pretty good spider sense whether it's going to be successful or not.
Do you think it's better to tell them it's going to fail and just say your idea sucks, you're not confident, this is not going to work out? Or do you think it's better to let them fail and go through that experience so they could learn from it?
Well, that's what I do all day. That's why I'm the hated shark. I always say that idea sucks, it has no merit, it's going to go bankrupt, and you're going to lose your house. Versus what Lori and Barbara do. "Oh, kumbaya. You keep going. I admire what you're doing. I'm not going to give you any money, but you just keep on going. You go, girl, you go." I lean over to them. I said, "What are you talking about? This idea is shit. It's going to zero for sure. It's disingenuous what you're doing." We have that debate all the time. And I get the rap for being the guy that tells the truth. I'm the only shark that tells the truth, and I'm your best friend because your idea does suck. It's going to zero, and you're not going to waste your time on it any longer. You'll start something else. That's the whole idea of entrepreneurship. Maybe you try 3 times. You only need one success.
What time were you most surprised by the pitch where you thought, okay, this is horrible, you're going to lose your house, but then it ended up being a success and there was demand for that?
Base pause. I think it was 2020 or 2019. Anna Skaya walks out, says, "I have a cat DNA testing kit for $29. And I looked at her and said, "I can buy a new cat for $5. Why would I spend $29 on a DNA testing kit? What a stupid idea this is." She was so compelling. No one gave her a dime, except at the end of her pitch. I just thought, wow, this woman just does not stop. She is vicious. She is so focused on this idea that she can help cats live longer and that people care enough about their cats that they'll give them $29. I said, okay, I can't take it anymore. I'll give you the 250,000, whatever it was I gave her. And
you
I
can't
said,
help it anymore.
I couldn't take it. I mean, she was not going to leave.
250 grand just to stop
She was
talking.
not going to leave without a deal. And so I caved.
Yeah.
That was it was the highest IRR return in Shark Tank history. A matter of months later, she sold it to a giant pharmaceutical, not because of the kits, because of the data.
Right.
She had the cat DNA data by the hundreds of thousands. And I thought to myself, wow, even though you think you know, you don't know. That's why you got to invest in a whole bunch of deals, because it's the ones that you think are going to be great that end up being turds. And the ones that are just insane, like Base Paws. What about Wicked Good Cupcakes? What a monster hit that was. Cupcakes in a jar, nobody would give them a dime. Tracy and Danny, it was 12 years ago. It was the same situation. They were so compelling with their whole pitch and their story. I thought, okay, they're just so good at telling it. Maybe someone else will like it too. Sold to Hickory Farms. Huge hit. Huge hit. Imagine putting a cupcake in a mason jar, shipping costs go up by 3 times. But that's not what their story was. It was gifting. And it was really, really, so I've learned that you just don't know, and you've got to cut a lot of slack in these deals. Who knows what last year's crop's going to do in 4 years from now? Who knows what I'm going to see next week when we start again? That's why I have a lot of latitude. And I don't even have to like you. I just want to figure out, can you execute? Like Anna in Base Paws, she was a ferocious beast. Her past record of execution skills was insane. She just never fails. That's the other thing. 75% of the deals for me in 15 years have been the ones that were successful, run by women.
What's different about them that makes them more focused on profit or better business?
Well, we actually studied this. We went back and looked at 7 years of data trying to figure this out. And what we learned was that, there's something to this adage, you want something done, give it to a busy mother, because they juggle a lot of things in a small startup company. But the real secret sauce was in setting goals, growth goals that were attainable. So their average growth rate was only 17% versus the men in our portfolio, 30%. But they only hit their targets 65% of the time, and women hit them 95% of the time. And I thought, why does that even matter in manifesting itself for a better cash outcome? And the answer is nobody wanted to quit the New England Patriots when Brady was the quarterback because they had a chance of getting a ring, a quarterback that just delivered the, championship year after year at the Super Bowl. They win Super Bowls. So women entrepreneurs that set goals that everybody achieves, the culture gets very sticky and there's no attrition. Nobody quits. In a small business, when you lose the head of sales, the head of accounting, head of logistics, very disruptive. That's sort of what the secret sauce was. So now we really reduce our growth targets to make sure we can achieve them. That's what matters.